Hi, I'm here today with Dr. Hisham, and I'm really excited to be talking to him today about holistic healthcare and how we can manage our own immune systems throughout this crisis and beyond. Hi, Dr. Hisham. So great to have you here.
Hello, thank you for having me. My
I'm
pleasure.
really excited because Dr. Hisham is my own personal dentist, and him and his team look after my entire family for all things dental, and it's been amazing coming to see you quite often, sometimes in some instances, um, and um,
Sometimes.
and it's always really tricky for me because I just want to keep chatting about all of the cool things that you do and that I'm
Same
interested
here.
in. And usually I've got my mouth wide open and I can't talk so much, which he probably does on purpose. Otherwise, I keep you there way too
Sure,
long.
speak only when I let you speak.
Yeah.
Uh,
So I'm
Look,
really, really
I
excited
love what you're
to
doing too,
have
Emma.
the ability and the privilege to chat with you today, and also
Thank you.
share some of your amazing wisdom to our audience and the world. So I just want to give a little bit of a background on Dr. Hisham. He's a New Zealand doctor practicing as a holistic laser dental surgeon. He's also an active international professional educator on laser and light therapy, a photobiomodulation clinical expert, a transformational speaker, an NLP master practitioner, mind and mouth health expert, and inventor of the world's first holistic oral care system. I had to read that because there are so many things that this man does that I could not commit them all to memory to be able to introduce you off the top of my head. So
Thank you.
apart from that, he's also the founder of the Laser Lifecare Institute, a high-tech dental institute and bioenergetics laser and light therapy spa for human enhancement. Pretty cool. Also anti-aging and mitochondrial disease prevention. Um, with the intent of helping people overcome chronic inflammation, pain, and degenerative disease. I love that, love it. And coming up to your core philosophy, this is just amazing because it's very, very in alignment with what my own core philosophy is, and also the basis of Aleph Beauty. And so your core philosophy is let's seek health rather than fight disease. Let's unite our intent to intelligently evolve by looking better at and within our world, feeling better and thereby becoming better beings. To look better, feel better, and be better. And what more can you say? I mean, that's what we all want from being on this planet, isn't it? So I'm so glad that you're here to help guide us through this.
Thank you. Thank you, Emma, for this beautiful introduction and for having me on the show. And obviously, like I said a minute before, I love what you guys are doing, you and Jim, and what you represent. And that's why we connect in the first place. That's why you chose me to be your care provider, and I chose you to care for you as well. And now we're choosing to serve others together. So
Yeah.
really grateful for that.
We're very grateful too. So thank you. So today, I wanted to start off by quizzing you a little bit on holistic health, and
Yes.
Because I know you have very, very deep roots in holistic health. So wanted to find out your perspective on why holistic health is so important.
Because by definition of the word, whole. So the whole is a sphere, basically. So like I always have spheres of different things all the time around me, because everything I define as a sphere. So everything, whether it's a thing, it's matter basically, or it's a non-thing, or it's an idea, or it's an organized force field, basically, just a quantum force field. It's always organized as a sphere, and as it is in the macro, so it is in the micro. So wherever you look, everything is organized as a sphere, no ups or downs, just rotates, mingles and merges with other spheres for new things to emerge. And of course, you can expand spheres and shrink spheres. So when we talk about the whole, the one thing, it's always this bioenergetic sphere in terms of relationship to humans, basically. So the body is a device that we as a soul are using to express ourselves while we're on this earth, and then the body goes back to where it came from, which is the earth. It's just organic matter that rots away, but then the soul it's not that it goes back, it's always out there somewhere using this body, it's not inside the body, and dissipates into another bioenergetic sphere. And I don't want to go to the philosophy or spirituality here, but that's a different talk. All I want to say now is that if we don't look at everything as a whole, as a collective of interacting forces affecting the sphere of existence, then we'll never win. Exactly. We can't look at disease as one thing at a time. We can't look at like a state of being even as separate parts. Yeah. Yes, at moments in time, you can focus on a part to improve it or change it or fix it or whatever, but always keeping in mind that this is part of a whole sphere of interacting forces. And obviously the main thing that carries force, or actually the only thing that carries force in this whole quantum field and quantum thermodynamics and all that stuff is light, is photons. Mm-hmm. Photons are the only force carrying particles basically that cause transformation of something. So that's why I always say we are light, we're not stardust. That's not true at all. We're not things, we're not matter. Our bodies might be partially matter, but even the stardust itself, everything basically is light. It's light transforming light, light transforming things into different ways. And when we talk about holistic health, we really want to look at the person as a whole, at their sphere as a whole, and at their transactions within themselves, within their environment, within their ecology, and within each other. That's the most important thing, because we're here to serve each other, not to serve anything else. We're here to serve each other, become better, basically. So that's my whole that I'm looking at. Great, excellent. And so what do you think in this time of our global pandemic crisis, what do you wow. What do you think? Crazy times, huh? No, yes, it is definitely unprecedented. And I believe that there are a lot of learnings going on. And I would love to know what you think that the biggest health learning globally will be when we come out of this. Is that a big question? It's a huge question, but it's a beautiful question. And I've been thinking about this, writing about it, and even speaking about it, just recording my own things here and there. It's very hard to put it in a short period of time, let alone a sentence or two. However, let me put it this way. The only thing that I can see in my heart, in my soul, basically, of what we're becoming, because it's not a question of whether we will overcome this crisis or any other crisis. We shall overcome, that's a fact. The question is, what are we becoming? And why do crises and challenges happen? What's the gift in the challenge? Because every gift is a challenge and every challenge is a gift. It's already packaged within the thing. What are you going to do about it? That's always the question. It's not why is it happening? Stop asking that question why. Always ask what is happening, what does it mean? And you don't have to find a meaning, you have to define a meaning. There's no meaning in it. Nothing has a meaning. We define meanings. Even the words that we're using, they don't have any meaning. They're just the sounds. We define those meanings, we agreed upon them, and therefore we use them. So define the meaning, what is happening, define a meaning for it, ask how can I deal with this, what is it making us better at, and what has been happening, what is going on, and what are we going to become out of this, and how do we deal with the whole thing. So what and how are much more important and empowering rather than why. That's a disempowering question. Yeah, why is just reacting in fear and letting yourself be pushed around by all of the situations. It's really possible to take these things and look at the empowering parts of it. You know, how can I best prepare myself for the future? How can I do things differently so that I come out of this in a better way? How can I look after my health in a better way? Correct. And how can we collaborate and change the system that has led us to being where we are? Which is what we'll talk about, the chronic inflammations and the disease states that we are in collectively, that are leaving us open to being not just infected, but to being abused by the system in a way that already doesn't trust us, that we're well enough to look after ourselves, or we're smart enough, or intelligent enough to look after ourselves. So there's a lot of nuances, and I don't want to go into conspiracy theories or anything like that, but it's just a fact of life that, hey, if we're not capable to look after ourselves collectively, someone or something will overpower us. We either empower ourselves, or we give up that power to another self-proclaimed authority, basically. Yeah. And at the end of the day, it's showing us, this very crisis actually is showing us that there is it's humbling us. Let's put it this way. Every generation requires something like this. First, I was angry about the whole thing and the fear and the response to and the craziness that's going on. But then I calmed down. I learned how to calm down when I was very depressed many years ago. That was the main thing that I had to learn. I had to calm down, to look at things differently, and what am I grateful for in this whole thing. And what came up was this grace and gratefulness that it is waking us up. It's exposing us to ourselves as a collective, our systems, our behaviors, our everything. And have they been serving us? Have we always cared? And do we actually care right now about ourselves and everybody else? Or should we care more and care differently? All the way from medical care to, and I can go into give some specific examples as well about all this, to obviously to political systems, to economic systems. And economy really at the end of the day is just the literal translation of the word economy is management of resources. It's not money, it's all resources. Human resources, materialistic resources, ecological resources, yes, financial resources as well, but it's all management of all of this. Have we been managing our economy and our ecology and our mindsets correctly and our humanity correctly? Or have we just been, yeah, whatever goes? And then now like, oh, okay, wake up call. So my hope and my vision is that we'll come out of this better and stronger in a better way, not richer financially, in terms of the same old method of, the rich getting richer as has always been and all that stuff, but richer financially, yes, more fairly, more fair and even distribution of what's called financial wealth. But beyond that and before that and after that, it's a more fair and more merciful way of redistributing the energies and the resources that we have between ourselves, the love, the compassion, the caring, the buying from each other, buying products that actually really are made by human beings who care about us,
right?
like
And
you and yours.
we're seeing
And exactly, selecting who you buy from, what you're buying from, how you're buying it, how much you're buying, what happens after you buy it, what happens to the ecology because you're buying this, and what happens afterwards, and so on and so forth. So this is what I'm seeing in my heart, and we're seeing it happen around the world, and hopefully that's what will continue. That the medical system will evolve, and there'll be more collaboration, corroboration, as with many colleagues like myself have been saying and trying to do for many years. But yet the establishment has been kind of calling us crazies and pushing us out on all these things. Now it's time for them to see, well, your methodology hasn't been working, and there's a lot of science and evidence out there that you just intentionally ignored. Now it's time to corroborate all that and collaborate on it to make it better. That's in my field of medicine and dentistry specifically. Love technology. It's not give up technology. It's corroborate it together to make it better.
Yeah, exactly. And what do you think will be the best way to communicate to people en masse that they are able to take control of their health and to realize that their own bodies are equipped to fight certain infections and to evolve in a way that they can be stronger and better and just more resilient towards everything from viruses to infections to environmental pollution, I suppose. Yeah, how do we make people aware that their own bodies can function really, really well, but we just have to put some energy and some thought into how we're treating our bodies and how we're treating our minds and everything around us, our environments.
Fantastic. And you used a fantastic word there, resilient. How do we build more resilience? Resilience is ability to readapt, basically. It's not, I'm resistant to something, I'm immune. Like we said at the very beginning, this is all humbling us and not humiliating, but humbling us to realize that, hey, one, we're not immortal. Nobody's better than the other. There's no freaking thing as royalty or presidents or whatever. These are just things we all made up. We're all humans. There's no small people and big people and all that stuff. So realize that, understand that we're mortal, that death is a natural part of living. That's the only absolute truth, basically. You were born, you will die. Absolute truth, period, full stop, finished. Let's not fight that. Let's fight for caring, empathy, knowledge and awareness properly applied instead of apathy and carelessness and tolerance and tolerating bad things all the time until they catch up with us. We want to accept things for what they are, to be able to deal with them, either change them or accentuate them. And that's how we build resilience and realize that. So to answer your question a bit more specifically, how do we make people aware? I think it's very important to, other than doing exactly what we're doing now, and many more people like us are doing it now, talking and speaking to each other and sharing experiences, not just as professionals, but me as a human who's been through a lot of struggles and hassles in life, and sickness and disease and all these things in our family, and the early death of our sister at 33 and all these things, and my father. There's too many stories. We don't have time to share them all here. Maybe I'll share one or two later on. But through these struggles and how we overcome them, sharing that message basically is, and opening up to it and providing people with sound combinations of knowledge and sound combinations of science that we already know about, that we've tried, so that they may choose to either apply that or not. So it's always a choice. Everything's a choice.
Exactly.
And exactly, don't let everybody take away your ability to choose, basically. So sharing the message, telling people what we've tried, sharing the struggles, because at the end of the day, that's all we really have is to share our stories and share our struggles, and then share the intelligence that we've developed, the knowledge, the ability. How did we deal with it? How did we cope with it? Hopefully to inspire more people to be aware, to become more aware. Actually, talking about the word awareness, that probably would be the very first thing that I would like to do in this whole next section. Define what it is to be healthy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you can't define a thing simply enough to be able to understand it and communicate it, then you can't deal with it. If it's too complex, too hard, can't deal with it. If it's so simple that it's almost meaningless, or just healthy. What does healthy mean? I don't have a labeled disease. Well, does that mean you're healthy? No. So what
exactly. How are you going to achieve something if you don't know what it looks like? So
that's it.
painting a
So
picture
let's
of what it looks like, so that we can all go down
that path. So if I may do that now, and maybe actually it's better if I write it down. I can show it to you. Okay, there is a sphere that I put everything into, that I want to translate.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean everything. It's like my mega sphere of human evolution, conscious evolution, and that I call the sphere of intention, imagination, and intelligence. So always setting our intention. What are we trying to do? And that obviously affects our imagination, the image that we create. So what is the outcome? What is the image that we envisage in this thing now called health, in that thing called, I don't know, my business, in that thing called my family. So what's my intent first? What's my imagination? And both of course affect each other. And then what is the intelligence that I need, have, or other people, this collective human mind that I can, activity that I can draw from to achieve my intended image, basically, my imagination. So
right. I might get you to draw a diagram later attached to this. Afterwards.
Because intelligence literally means intelligere, ability to, and imagination is obviously creating an image, and intention is intent, setting what am I going into. So with that in mind, within that sphere, basically, we'll talk about intelligence as in what to do and science and all these things later on. For now, what is our intent? What is our imagination? What are we imagining as this process called health? Mm-hmm. Well, to define it, very simply, because everything is an interactive, flowing field of forces that are constantly interacting with each other. It's not the one thing that you do, it's all things together that you can control and you can't control, and then weighing out the outcome. Being healthy, or the way the body maintains health, and even the mind, is having that resilience, like we said before, the ability to balance back. We have a very narrow parameter. Let's talk about the body. Let's not talk about the mind today. We are talking through our minds, to our minds, and within our minds. So let's just give that let's leave that as a big picture. We're talking about the body. So the human body has very specific parameters within which it can operate properly. Anything outside of this field, anything outside of that field, it is dysfunctional. So this is physiology. Here, you shift here, you're pathophysiological, you shift there, you're pathophysiological. that's not death. This is not death. This is not death. You're still functioning, but in a dysfunctional way. And that's where chronic inflammation and all that becomes. So this is called pathophysiology. You're still alive and working, but you're dysfunctioning and you're dysfunctioning. So between these shifts that keep happening all the time, there's no moment in time where you're steady. There is no such thing as balanced, ever. Everything is balancing the whole time. Everything is an activity. There are no nouns in this.
Optimal, the amount of time that you spend in this middle bit as opposed to the others would be your balance.
Yes, but you're never in that state.
Right.
For like, it's immeasurable actually. It's technically immeasurable. You can't measure it in moments other than time being infinite itself. Even our time within, like, how long are you in this one? How are you going to measure that? So what you're actually measuring is the shift back from here to here to here, passing by this middle point the whole time. So and that's what we have to modulate. So we have to be aware of, are we doing too many things that are pushing us this way, or are we allowing the many things that we cannot control, too many of them that we cannot control, viruses, bacteria, toxicity in the air, electromagnetic frequencies, whatever, that we're being exposed
we're managing to control a lot of that right now, aren't we?
Yeah, absolutely. So some things we can control, like one-on-one every day, what I do, some things we can't, but between the interactions of all this, there's that middle point. So some things are pushing us this way, some things are pushing us that way, and the body is always trying, actively trying. It's not trying, it's doing it basically. But the ability to do it, to balance back from here, to balance back from there, like for example, the death of our cells. When cells go dysfunctional, actually when mitochondria go dysfunctional, and then cells go dysfunctional because of the mitochondria, because it's always so, always mitochondria go first, including cancer cells and infected cells and all these things. The body, the actual cell itself and the mitochondria itself, before the rest of the body, realizes that it is dysfunctional and starts to program its own cell death, called apoptosis. That's natural cell death. So, and if that function, if that recognition, that awareness doesn't happen, and then the sequence of what needs to happen properly doesn't happen, then we get cancers and chronic inflammation and disease and all these things. So apoptosis is programmed cell death. It is death, but because it's programmed, all the other functions in that sphere happen at the same time. We're going to replace this cell with other healthy cells because we're aware of which. I'm not talking about consciously. I'm not aware of this, and you're not aware of this. It's your subconscious that is, all the time. Okay, this one is dysfunctional, and we can't fix it. Therefore, we have to divide this one that's next to it, that's really good, into two to replace this one. Okay, now that's dividing. It's all going well. This one has to die. Of course, we're not going to waste the material that comes out of it. We're going to actually use these same organic materials and that
so
same
incredible
energy.
how much the body knows and how much
Absolutely. Absolutely. So health and homeostasis, in medicine we call it homeostasis, that state of balance, to try and maintain the same state. It's an active process. It's not a thing. Your cells are not just there. They're always sensing, biosignaling to each other, biosignaling to each other and to everything else in the environment. What's going on? How do we adapt? What do we need to change? Make more oxidative reactions, ROS, reactive oxygen species, make less of them. Oxidation is not bad. It's vital. Superoxidation is not good, and too much antioxidants is bad actually. Too little is also bad, and so on and so forth. So we'll talk about the details of that later, but I'm just saying it's all a balance, a continuous state of balancing. So how I define all this is health is the ability, it's not maintaining homeostasis, it's the ability to maintain homeostasis. It is this balancing activity that equals, I'll write this down. It's easier if people see it when it's written. So balancing equals awareness, and that's conscious and subconscious. Not that we can control all this conscious. We can just influence it. We can get into its flow, accentuate it or disintegrate it. Awareness multiplied by modulation. Bam. Literally, bam. Oh, you're reading it backwards, yeah? Sorry, on the thing. So BAM, BAM, balancing equals awareness multiplied by modulation. that is what health is. If you're healthy, then you're continuously able to be to balancing through awareness, which is either conscious awareness, not either, it's and conscious awareness plus subconscious awareness, and allowing your body to feel and sense. And like I said, the biosensing and the biosignaling out has to continue flowing to create that constant awareness of where are we within each other, us and our microbiome, us and our external environment, us and our internal environment, and so on and so forth. Multiply it, because this accentuates that awareness and modulation. Based on the awareness on what do I receive as a signal, the epigenetic signals, the environmental signals, the interconnected signals, whatever it is, because we are trigenomic, we have three genomic systems controlling us in the first place. I keep saying we'll talk about all these things later, but anyway, there's a lot to talk about.
Many
yeah,
reviews.
exactly. So the awareness of all this multiplied by the ability to modulate. Now, this is where the activity happens. Signal and signal in, signal out. Okay, what do we need to modulate? Modulation is a much more potent word than moderation, because when you say moderation, people think, oh, okay, moderation means I can do this, but just not too much. I need to cut this out. Or actually, no, you can do bad stuff that you even know that is bad for you, but maybe 20% of the time maximum. Versus 80% of the time, you should be doing good stuff for you. But what is it and all these things to enhance your body's ability to modulate, to be able to turn some things down, turn things up at the right times and in the right sequence.
That's key. Yeah.
So balancing is the ability to be aware and response. So awareness and response, which is a constant modulation. So maintaining that flow and influence it. We cannot control this. We can influence it.
Yeah.
We can become more and more consciously aware, become more internally aware, go in, calm down, meditate, whatever needs to be done, and thereby allow our bodies to have that more of that ability to modulate itself,
And making
modulate its
conscious
response.
decisions wherever possible, and
That's it.
making conscious decisions
Amen.
allows you to know you're making more and more conscious decisions, which
Absolutely.
in turn help with your motivation.
And if you're making bad decisions and you're aware of it and you accept your responsibility for the outcomes of that, that's also totally fine.
Well,
We're
that's
humans.
also a conscious
None
decision.
of us perfect, and it's not I'm only admitting it, I'm totally accepting it. It's about all that acceptance. I'm not tolerating my mistakes. I'm accepting them. And sometimes I do the intention like, oh, I shouldn't be having this, but okay, I'll just have it now. That's my choice. That's freedom. That's freedom of choice. But know that you're doing something that's not okay. Know that you shouldn't be doing it all the time, and know to accept your consequences if anything goes wrong because of that, and know that you're going to be doing better for the rest of the time.
That is
It's
right.
not being aware, not being conscious that, hey, they're telling me this is good for me, therefore it must be good. I'm not aware whether it's good or not. I'm just doing it, and then, oh shit, I'm sick now. Well, and that's very common. That's healthcare, personal care, pharmaceuticals. A lot of things cause so much disease because we're being lied to.
Way to somebody else to decide for you.
That's it.
And it is hard to know everything, to know how you're making,
of course,
know if you're making the right decisions. So I get it. I understand why it's easy to just hand the power over. But I would love to see more and more people taking this power back and learning more. They don't have to know everything about everything all the time, but
nobody can.
Little baby steps,
That's it. It's progress.
Yeah.
Progress. One of the best definitions of success that I've learned from one of my main mentors, Bob Proctor, was success is the gradual realization of a worthy ideal. It's a gradual realization. You never achieve success. It's a journey. It's not like, oh, I've succeeded in being healthy. I've succeeded in being wealthy. I've succeeded in my relationship. It's a constant journey. It's a gradual realization, making it real out of nothing, of a worthy ideal. What is your worthy ideal? And just go slowly towards that. You're making progress. Progress is the game that we're all playing. Exactly. It's not getting there, because by the time you get there, you're nearly dead anyway, and death is not bad. It's just part of it. But now you've got to pass on that knowledge. We've got to always aim for progress, not for perfection, because there's no such thing in the first place. Never existed, never will. So it's progress. How can I build on it? What can I learn today? What is this teaching me? What is this asking me to do? Because shit happens for a reason. And shit is not a bad word. It's SHIT.
Another
significant,
acronym?
Hurdles, absolutely. This is
Love
another
it.
Dr. Hisham quote. Significant hurdles, inspiring transformation.
Another thing we're gonna have to write.
SHIT. They're significant markers. There's a sign. It's science, significant, they're important, they're big things. Hurdles, troubles, questions, challenges, COVID-19 crisis, whatever, that are inspiring us to transform. But if we don't make that transformation, if we don't realize that this is asking us to transform something,
We're gonna be right back to square
come
one.
with that, guess what? Yeah, no shift. If you don't shift your whatever you're doing, if you don't transform, more shit is going to happen until you make that shift.
Yep.
So no shift, more shit.
Yep. Okay, and
That's
just
another quote.
INT. Remind me, INT.
Significant, hurdles, inspiring, transformation.
Yes, perfect. Love it.
And when you make the shift, that F becomes forward transformation. The F in the shift, because shift and shit are the same word except with an F in there, and that F is the forward. You've moved forward beyond the shit that's happening. So,
There are going to be
and
some
no shift, more shit. So yeah, challenges are gifts and gifts are challenges. Why is this shit happening to me? Well, maybe don't ask why. Just say, what is going on? What is the shit that's going on? How can I shift what am I doing and what we're doing to become better than it, overcome it. We'll always overcome it. But are we getting better, or are we just creating a whole new catastrophe? Like, look at the Earth, how it's cleaned up itself in the last 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks.
Incredible. I'm really, really hopeful that we can cause some lasting change and keep following through. You know, more people working at home going forward, whoever, if they can.
Yes.
More electric cars on the road, because we have seen with the lack of traffic, the pollution clearing. And yeah,
more online conferencing than conferences everywhere all the time, and massive travel and all these things.
And it's been amazing, actually.
So
both myself and my husband have both been able to attend international conferences that we would have loved to, but just couldn't quite get there because of time, money, commitments.
Absolutely. Same here.
We've actually benefited hugely from more of these conferences.
Yeah. The drain on ourselves and our finances and on the ecology that we've been shitting in our pool for too long, or pissing in our own pool, the saying. And now we're just going to realize that actually it can clean itself up. It's much better off without us. Yeah. But it's our activity. It's not us, our existence. It's our activity that's been messing everything else up. So let's change our activity, still to benefit ourselves, but mainly to stop pissing in our own pool, so we don't mess up that pool that now is unlivable.
Yep.
And then we have to go and find Mars to live in. Like, really? We don't. we messed this one up, so we should go and find another one to mess up? No, we need to stop messing this one up. Exactly. And here's the sign. Here's the clear. It's not even a sign. It's clear. It's clear as day and night. Here, you guys stopped. You go to your rooms, little bad creatures. I'll clean myself up in 2 weeks. Whoop, done. Like,
amazing.
See? Yeah. Okay. So let's see this and say, okay. We've been the bad boys and bad girls, so let's become the good girls and the good boys for our own souls. It's mercy upon us. Earth doesn't need us. We don't need to serve the Earth or save the Earth. It is totally fine and much better off without us. We need to save our souls and mercy upon our souls, upon our own species. The journey of the one race. We're not, we always used to be told in different messages, but technically the message was from eugenics to wars to colonization to whatever you want to call it throughout history. And until today, it's going on wars, us better than them. It's always a race against each other. There's us and them, a race against each other. We're the better race, we're the better nation, we're the better superior power, whatever it is. Total bullshit. It's always been bullshit, but now it's more clear to us. This is not a race against each other. It's a journey of one race together, and that one race is the human race. So can we please just all get together on this? Don't do it for the Earth, because it doesn't need us. It's actually much better to do it for us. We need to save our own ecology and our own souls.
Yeah, that's beautifully said. And let's pray that everybody, or everybody isn't going to hear this message, but for that the best proportion of people, so that we can tip that balance and come out of this bigger and better. And so,
absolutely,
saying that, I wanted to get a little bit more specific into holistic health, to ask you what you recommend to be able to enhance our own immune systems so that we may become and stay more resilient going forward.
Thank you. So talking about the virus now is a cool thing because it's everybody's mind. So let's use that as an analogy.
Mm-hmm.
But it never should have been, and it never is, and never will be the only thing that we're dealing with like I said before. So we're always dealing with microbiome imbalances, good bacteria, bad bacteria in our mouths, in our guts, everywhere around us, and so on and so forth. But let's use the virus now as our target example because it's a hot topic.
Yeah.
So we are always stronger than the invader. And by we, I mean us and our good microbiome. Mm-hmm. So we need to protect our good bacteria that are inside our mouths, down our guts, and on our skin to help us in that defense against other pathogenic bacteria, because it's only when this gets weaker that takes over, when the environment shifts towards nourishing those, then we get sick. It shifts towards these ones, we get protected. And viruses, specifically viruses, because viruses are not a thing by themselves. They're not a living thing. They don't replicate by themselves. They don't like bacteria. They're not smart like bacteria. Bacteria form biofilms and connect with each other and quorum sense each other and flow together and literally push away others and attract others and form cities. Literally, a biofilm is a city. And that's what's on our skin, on any surface, and 90% of us are bacteria and fungi as well. Mm-hmm. Viruses are little particles of pieces of DNA with a little capsid around most of them. The coronaviruses, the whole family of 8 coronaviruses are all that, RNA viruses with a capsid, just like HIV, just like hepatitis B as well. And they're only seeking to attach themselves to a living cell, human or bacterial cell, or other animal cells. So different viruses like different kind of cells basically, but they have to find a living cell to attach to, enter into, and make it replicate the virus basically. Mm-hmm. So it's sensing, it's attaching, it's penetration, and it's take over of that living cell to replicate itself. Without that, there is no virus and there is no fear and there's nothing's going wrong basically. So like they don't just grow by themselves. They don't, like some of those images online that people are showing around these days, which are crazy. If you saw the virus, there's images of big viruses coronaviruses walking down the street. If you saw the virus on the street, would you still get out? Like, well, that's not the way it works, buddy. It's only existing and transforming through other living systems. So what I want to say here is we have to, at all times, be looking after ourselves and our microbiomes and our barriers, as well as our membranes. So our skin is a barrier, our mucosa inside the mouth, down the throat, and all the way down the guts, because the mouth is the portal to health. It's the hole that's the portal to the whole. Get it? Yep. So, because all that mucosa it's secondarily a barrier, but it's primarily a membrane. Yep. It's actually, mucosa is short for mucosal membrane. It's a membrane that is only 3 to 5 cells thick. At the very thickest spots, it's maybe 10 cells thick, but it's sensing everything. It's allowing things to penetrate more than it's actually barrier to stop things from penetrating. Mm. And that's the primary source of the vast majority of infections, mm-hmm. other than taking something into your bloodstream directly through a cut or through an injection or vaccination or whatever. Basically, that's obviously directly into the blood, but that 90% of infections, especially respiratory tract infections, like what we're talking about here, the SARS and the COVID-19 is just SARS-2, it's another form of SARS virus, and definitely all like strep bacteria in the throat and gut bacteria, good or bad, middle ear infections. All of these things are through here. Even if it goes through your nose, it still has to go down through the oropharynx, the back of the pharynx there. So protecting this area here is critically important and vitally important all the time. Not for your teeth, not for your gums, not for whatever. It's for everything. Plus your teeth and your gums and this and that and everything else, and your brain and your heart and your kidneys and your gut microbiome, which is controlled by this microbiome. Leaky mouth is the worst disease. The worst disease.
And nobody. I didn't think about. I mean, I've been searching out holistic health for many, many years, and you know that everything's connected, but it's not something that people talk about, having
I know.
mouth connected to the microbiome in the stomach. And I know you're going to go into this, but I want to
Please go
just
ahead. Yeah,
point out the fact that
yeah.
nobody talks about how detrimental most oral products are for the mouth microbiome and for the stomach. And I was just so thrilled to.
And for the mucosa,
Yes,
we were
yeah,
just talking about, they're
yeah,
directly irritant or toxic to the mucosa, directly.
yeah. And this, I would love you to talk about your products as well, because until I
Thank
found
you.
your products, I was forever on the search for, of course, toothpaste that had no abrasives in them, toothpaste that didn't contain fluoride, because that's a big no-no for me.
Big toxin, absolutely.
But finding your products and the way you describe them, light bulbs just went off all over the place. So I'd love you to talk a little bit about this, because this is
Thank you.
very helpful.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. And that was a great
Segue?
introduction to exactly, a great segue to what we're coming into, because I mentioned about the importance of protecting our good microbiome and nurturing the good bacteria. So don't go, the intent, remember intention and intelligence and all that stuff, the intent should never be there to kill bacteria. It's to suppress, call it kill, call it whatever, but it's to suppress bad bacteria and fungus, and to encourage or express the good bacteria to grow. And that's an environmental shift. We can't do that with spray chemicals. We can do that by multitude of things that change the environment to become more favorable for this than that. So we talked about the importance of microbiome balance, because that's one of our one of the trigenomics. So there's our own genes, which are the same in every single cell. They just get triggered differently because of the epigenetic factors from outside. There's the innumerable variations of our microbiome genetics, which directly control the rest of our genetic signaling. So they tell the rest of our body what to do in constant response and feedback by feedback loops. And then the mitochondrial genome. The mitochondria within each cell in our bodies, they all have the same genes, but they're different genes to the cellular genes. So the nucleus has a set of genes, the mitochondria has a set of genes, totally distinct and totally separate. Together, they're same in every cell in every human body. Well, in your human body, every one of your cells has the same genes in its DNA and the same ones in each mitochondria, but they're different to each other. And the interaction between these are very important. And then the interaction between these, because DNA is only an intelligence or an energetic signal carrier molecule. It's not active. It's not active at all. It gets activated all the time to respond to things. Do this, don't do that, create more this, create more that. So looking after our mitochondria, looking after our cells, looking after our microbiome, all critical. On the small scale. On the bigger scale, looking after, like I said, the barriers that protect us, and the membranes that allow good signals in and protect us from bad signals going in. So with that in mind, and knowing that the mouth is the most major and critical portal to all of this, seeding and feeding the gut microbiome, which then controls everything else in our brains and serotonin and all that stuff. Breathing it's not controlled, but it's mostly managed by the mouth activity. So whether your mouth is open, whether your mouth is closed, that will change drastically the way you breathe. No time to talk about the breathing techniques and all these things here, but this is critical that it stays closed unless you're speaking or trying to eat, but the rest of the time it should always be closed, so the air gets filtered through here. And of course, what goes on inside our mouths, what goes through our mouth, and what comes out of our mouths is always going to directly affect and control our state of being, our state of existence, biologically, chemically, physiologically, and metaphorically as well. So watch what goes on in here.
Yeah.
And like you said, with the products, basically, it's very important to not keep on adding irritants and toxins. Cumulatively, things can become toxic, or in one high dose can be toxic. So things like fluoride. In high, not even high, like a teaspoon of fluoride will kill any human being. We don't usually have that in toothpaste and all these things, so we have a lot less. They say, oh, it's safer in that and that. Well, it's always been a toxin and it's not part of the human physiology, so why is it even there? It becomes cumulatively toxic and then cumulatively with other stuff as well. So it is important to be aware of what is bad and avoid detergents, soaps that break the skin. It's okay to use soap, obviously use cleaner and better soaps for your skin, but it's still okay to use a foaming agent to clean your hands, because we have to clean our hands and our bodies. But this is very thick skin, it's layers upon layers, and the last layer is keratin. It's not dead cells per se, it's actually a protein layer of keratin that is technically dead, basically, to protect ourselves, because this is a barrier. So washing it with soap will not destroy it, and yet most people are so afraid of what they put on their skin. Oh, it's going to go through. Actually, very little stuff goes through your skin. I'm not saying don't be aware, but don't beware, don't be afraid. Guess what happens inside the mouth? This delicate mucosa, like I was saying, your skin, your lips, your cheeks, your throat, and all that stuff, that's much more delicate than this. It has no keratin, except on the gums you have a bit of keratin. The rest has no keratin, no protection. It's exposed cells, red blood vessels underneath. Everything that goes in here, it's sensed immediately and sends a signal to the rest of your body immediately.
Wow.
So using soap, any kind of detergent, it's not SLS only, any kind of foaming detergent, natural, unnatural, there's no such thing, should never go in onto mucosa. Just like you would put it through your other mucosa.
Toothpaste should not be foaming.
So that's it. And yet, all toothpaste by default, because toothpaste is what? What is toothpaste? Who created toothpaste? It was a French doctor, I don't know, in the 1800s, put in some abrasives together, called it dentifrice, and then Colgate-Palmolive started saying, oh, we're a detergent manufacturer, we can put soap with abrasive in lead tubes, literally it was lead tubes, and sell that and make a toothpaste. And then everybody copied that, and then it became a thing. No science, no thinking, no nothing, basically. And then they made up the science by paying for it after that. Unfortunately, what happened is a lot of so-called natural manufacturers went and said, oh, this is making a lot of money. We can make soaps and detergents and abrasives from natural sources and take away one thing, and we're good. Same crap. It's the same crap, just different packaging. So being less toxic is not more effective. It's not better. That's one little thing that I want to say. So less toxic, yes, it should be non-toxic in the first place, cause no harm, because as healthcare providers, we should cause no harm. Manufacturers as well. So it's not less toxic, it should be non-toxic at all. But then, is it more effective? What does it do for the whole being? That's the question, and that's the goal. So that's why I went to create my own product system, and it's a system to follow that ability, like I said before, to modulate. It's not a thing, it's a whole system to follow human physiology and accentuate and enhance it all the time. So protect us against viruses, yes. A lot of the ingredients in here are antiviral. In terms of contact with the virus, it kills the viruses, especially what's in here, because the oxidation of viruses, so like ozone. Ooh, we need to talk about ozone.
No,
we do. And oh my goodness. Okay, so oxidizing agents in here are directly antiviral and also antibacterial in terms of anaerobic bacteria. So anaerobic bacteria get killed effectively by this. Bad bacteria also will get killed by the oils and the total that's in this, and viruses as well. So there is a bad bacteria, bad virus activity, right?
Stop you there for toterol. Toterol is one of our favorite ingredients. We actually use that throughout our products as well. So yeah, well done for using that. It's an incredible ingredient.
Absolutely.
Tell me why you've put it in there.
The toterol in the serum, and it's in the serum, and it's in the powder as well, the organic dental detox powder, for its known antibacterial and antiviral effects at very low concentrations, but mainly as the primary preservative that's in here, because I don't add any other preservatives. So it preserves the products while having a positive effect. So everything that I put in has to have a positive synergistic impact on the whole system and on the whole human, otherwise it doesn't go in. That was the core philosophy. If it doesn't have a benefit, it shouldn't go in. And the benefit is to the human. So that's why I even changed the words. I used to say natural system, now it's holistic system, not natural, because natural is just about the source. Well, guess what? Mercury is natural, fluorine is natural, uranium, plutonium, all these are natural substances. They exist in nature. Doesn't mean we put them in the body. So natural, what do you mean? And it's been abused, that word natural, actually. So holistic means the natural effect. The effect on the human body is, and the microbiome, and the integrity, and the resilience, and all these things is nature enhancing and nature like. So that's holistic. So the total is as a preservative and as an integral part of that antiviral, anti-bad bacteria fight. But there's a lot more here. This is the most complex oral care product in the whole wide world, basically. There's nothing in the world that comes close to this. Now, everything in the system is unique, including the whole system itself, but this serum is like, there's nothing that even comes close. You know, it's 1/3 oils and 1/3 xylitol, the purest, the best form of xylitol, the finished birchwood xylitol, and 1/3 biominerals. So it's literally a supplement. The oils carry the vitamin D3 and vitamin K2, which are oil soluble, fat soluble, essential vitamins. That's never been done in the whole wide world. To have so many oils was never done. Combination of oils, cocoa butter, coconut oil, organic coconut oil, organic cocoa butter, and then added to that, because those are the big oils basically. They themselves are effective biofilm, bacterial decontamination, all these things, but they're also nourishing, they're nurturing, and also they're carriers for the total. So the total dissolves in the oils. For other oils like manuka oil and peppermint oil, so they carry those in them basically. So they're accentuated oils. And when you agitate oils, like they say with oil pulling, but it's ridiculous to do 20 minutes of oil pulling, and then you still have to do other stuff as well. You agitate it with a brush. Now you're cleaning with the oil. So they're cleaning, they're healing, they're nurturing, and they're carrying vitamins that penetrate through that are vital, and they're carrying other ingredients as well. The xylitol is a prebiotic, so it balances out, suppresses, literally kills them, but not by on contact, but it actually constipates them. Bad bacteria and fungi, so candida goes like this, because they cannot process xylitol. Good bacteria and human cells go, ooh, xylitol, cool, we're fine. And they actually make energy out of it, just like any other polysaccharide, basically, like any other complex carbohydrate, because it's a plant fiber. And then the biominerals, so the calcium, the non-hydroxyapatite, the magnesium, the zinc, the potassium. And if you're going to put sodium, there's sodium bicarbonate in there. If you're going to put sodium, salt, you're going to put potassium to maintain that balance of sodium, potassium, sodium, potassium. If you're going to put a lot of calcium, you've got to put a lot of phosphate with it, because that's what bones and teeth and signaling molecules in the heart. Calcium is necessary for the heart, calcium is necessary. Non-hydroxyapatite, that's in here, is remineralizing for teeth and for bones. Fantastic, because we do need that, but it's also part of the pituitary gland. Pituitary gland has a lot of non-hydroxyapatite microcrystals that are constantly vibrating. So the whole thing is good for the whole thing.
Yeah.
That's why when you brush your gums,
here is a supplement as well, which is
thank you.
amazing.
So it's the world's first oral care supplement. It's not just for cleaning, it's for caring, it's for healing.
And I just wanted to say that, by the way, we didn't start off this interview as an intentional to promote products, but
it's exciting.
I can't not talk about them, because they are truly, truly amazing. And it's all part of the system that is going to help us all become more resilient towards bacteria and pathogens and viruses. And so I guess people are going to be asking me where to get this from. Where's the place to get your products from, especially now in lockdown? Is there anywhere that can be?
Yes.
Yep.
Our website is Dr Hisham's, DRHISHAMS, because Dr Hisham's Holistic Oral Care System .co.nz, or just .nz. And we can ship products. We are shipping products. Right. It's outside of New Zealand that's a bit of a problem. Australia, we're shipping okay. US still okay. Some other places being a bit of a hurdle with the shipping, but we can still get them there. Right. We have distributors in the UK and in Europe. functionalself.co.uk and .com.au. They also sell it in Australia, and they're local. They already have it there. And in New Zealand, we also have them in Huckleberry Farms, so you can physically go into the shop to buy them there. Actually, a lot of them are still open, Huckleberry Farms, as an organic food store. Okay. So yeah, we have them in a few places here and there. And the system is very important to be used as a system, because you want to oxidize first, so you rinse with the mouth rinse for a whole minute or longer. So usually my system is always shake it because it's a super concentrate, and we have it in these compostable packs now to make your own refills. Yeah, so super eco-friendly and less cost and all that, because you use this every day, twice a day or more. Put it in your mouth, rinse with it while you're sitting in the bathroom, sitting in the toilet, in the shower. Just keep rinsing and gargling with it. The oxidation effect kills bad bacteria, like I said, and viruses. Also stimulating your own saliva, because there's a lot of xylitol in here, and zinc, and other biominerals as well. No total in here, and no oils. This is a rinse, and it's oxidizing. This is an oxidizing product. This is an antioxidant. Same thing with this. Oxidant, antioxidant. It's maintaining that modulation, remember? So very, very quick kill on all of that, and then you spit it out. It's safe to swallow, of course, but by the time you've rinsed for 4 or 5 minutes, you will spit it out. You already feel cleaner immediately, like, oh, do I really need to brush? Well, you still do. Yeah. And then you brush with the serum, and you leave the serum on, and you brush your gums and your teeth with this beautiful, super soft, intentionally designed, lovingly designed, everything is designed with love and intention and testing for years and years. Ergonomically designed handle, not like those cheap silver brushes, yes, that are fumigated and hard to maneuver. This is easy to maneuver, super soft bristles. It's a gum and toothbrush. It's the world's first gum and toothbrush, because you're massaging your gums. You're massaging this serum into your gums because you want it to absorb. You also want to break that bad biofilm. You want to break everything that's bad and let the rest of it heal and nurture. So there's physical cleaning, but without torture. It's massaging, improving your blood flow, activating your parasympathetic nervous system as you're doing this. There's a whole technique to it. I'll show it in another video because I'm going to be standing up, but we'll do that later. And the serum gets brushed on and stays on. If it's not good for you and you have to spit it out and rinse it out very quickly and don't give it to your child and all that, why put it in your body every day?
Exactly.
And what did I just describe? All toothpaste. And I mean all of them. So anything that's called toothpaste is just abrasive, detergent, and some other humectant to thicken it and all that stuff.
And I'm sure you'll have videos on your website, do you?
Many, yes. Absolutely. Many, many, many of them. You can put it on wounds, you can put it on sore spots, you can put it on babies' bums. When you have surgery, you can put it on inside your mouth, outside your mouth. It's a literal healing serum. One way I use it to protect ourselves when if we're getting sick, or if somebody feels sick, and that you can use that now, is to put it inside your nose as well, because all these oils will adhere to your mucosa. Like we said, we made it to adhere into them, protect your mucosa. So while toothpaste and alcohol mouth rinses, by the way, so this is alkaline mouth, the world's first alkaline mouth rinse. It's alkaline and non-alcohol. Acids and alcohol, whether you drink them or rinsing with them, and all mouth rinses out there are acidic and alcoholic, including 95% of the ones that say natural. I've got many videos showing you these tests, and you can do them yourself. And I can show you how to do them at home. It's very easy. But anyway, alcohol and acids break mucosa. We don't, like I said before, do not break your mucosa repeatedly.
Yeah.
So you want to protect your mucosa and seal its integrity, so you don't leak dirt, you don't leak viruses, you don't leak signaling molecules that cause inflammation, that irritants. So this helps protect you from breakage. Then this literally seals. It's an oil, so it helps you seal and protect and nurture you with the vitamin D3 and K2 and everything else. And the minerals are there for the teeth and the bones and all that, like I said, in the right concentrations as well. Every now and then, especially at times like this with COVID and all that stuff, or if you have active gum disease at this time, none of this is treatment. It's all for prevention and healing and keeping that balance, modulating that balance long term.
So consciously switch your mind to for the long term.
Absolutely. So if you have an active inflammation right now, or you're worried about the virus now, because like I said, it's not a skin infection. You don't get a virus on your hands and you get sick. It's hands or air or whatever it comes in, sticks to mucosa. Don't let it go down, and don't let it go into your bloodstream. That's where you catch it and kill it. So this is organic dental detox powder. You brush with this after the rinse on the weekends, or for a whole week, a month, instead of the serum. It's not as nurturing as the serum because it doesn't have the oil and the vitamin D and the vitamin C, but it's as the word says, organic dental detox tooth whitening powder. It's literally, you feel it. You're like, oh shit, this is clean.
Yeah, good stuff.
Super oxidizing, super cleansing. Absolutely helps whiten the teeth. helps clean everything. The diatomaceous earth in it absorbs toxins, absorbs debris, oxidizing agent, the same as what's in here, kills viruses, kills bad bacteria. So it's very good to detox, deep cleanse every once in a while. So for a week, a month, or on the weekends, and then the rest of the time heal. There's still protection in here. There's still a lot of antivirals and all that, but there's more healing, more nurturing, more, it's this whole yin and yang balance. Strong cleaning, good nurturing. You can't just keep cutting your grass or weeding your lawn all the time. You've got to weed it sometimes, seed it at other times, nurture it the rest of the time. It's a constant balance.
Now, I know we've been talking for a long time, and I know that you and I could talk for hours and probably days on end, but
that's all right.
I would love to just find your other top tips for boosting the immune system or resilience.
Without going too specific about having tests and being under the observation of a good holistic doctor, basically, this is my general advice: find a good holistic or functional medicine or integrative doctor or naturopath. Different terms in different paths are used, but somebody who can take blood samples, do tests, talk to you about all these things, check your supplement levels that require all these things. So that would be my general advice to everyone. Not a normal GP, but a more evolved GP. Let's call it this way. And in some places, this could be, like, I think in the US, it could be a naturopath or a chiropractor. They can actually order tests. But in New Zealand, for example, a naturopath cannot order blood tests, cannot inject anything cannot inject vitamin C. In the US, it's a little bit different. So anyway, wherever you are in the world, find which healthcare practitioner can look after you, not just mentally and physically overall, but test you for stuff and supplement you with stuff, including vitamin C IV that I'll be talking about, and then all these things. So having said that, there are core fundamentals that are universal. Let's put it this way. Almost everyone these days is deficient in vitamin D3, unless you live in an island or on an island, or you're fishing your own fish and growing your own vegetables and all these things, which is very rare. And I don't want to do that myself. I don't know how to fish or hunt or anything like that. So living in a city, living in our world, we're all deficient in vitamin D. Well, actually deficient in most things, really, because even if we do eat organic food in a city, it is never going to be fully nutritious as it would have been. So yes, try to eat your best and cleanest, but just know that you've got to supplement yourself, because the way we live is not natural. The stresses, the toxins, the irritants, and all these things, as much as we're saying let's reduce them, we can't get rid of them. So the way we live is not natural. That's why we have to up our natural defense. Yes. You want to go totally natural and just eat from the earth and all that? Fine, go do that. But you've got to hop into the bush or into the island and never come out and never use a cell phone and never do a computer thing like this and never do that. Well, that's a whole different story. So for the rest of us, we do have to supplement. And the core fundamentals, not specific just to each one of you, but please check that individually later on. Vitamin D3, at least 1,000 international units a day. If you're really sick, maybe go up to 5,000. Some people say 10, 20, 30,000. I think that's too much, especially with vitamin D and K2 and E. So the ADEK, that's how we learned it actually in medical school. ADEK, A-D-E-K, are fat soluble. You take too much, it stays in your fat, in your lipos, is in your fat cells, basically, resolved within the lipids, and that can become toxic. So the fat soluble ones, you don't excrete them. If you take too much, they actually start to overaccumulate. So personally, I'm not a proponent of people taking 10,000 international units of vitamin D
at least 1,000 a day.
Exactly. Unless, like I said, you have a medical practitioner, integrative or holistic medical practitioner who's looking after you and they say that and they monitor you, that's a whole different story. Just saying, generally now, 1,000 is necessary. If you're taking none or less than that, you're missing out. Of course, there is not 1,000 units per gram in here. There's less, actually, it's 100 grams international units per gram of
so
this.
We need a good
locally
supplement.
Absolutely. And vitamin D3 and vitamin K2, ideally, if you can find them in the same one.
Yes.
And then vitamin C, for sure.
Yeah.
Same thing here. Too much antioxidants is bad.
Right.
All the time. unless you're sick. So I'm talking about maintaining health here. I'm not talking about treatment. We'll come to treatment as a recommendation in a minute. I'm just talking about maintenance. So don't take 10,000 units, 10,000 grams, sorry, 10,000 milligrams, 10 grams of vitamin C a day. That's ridiculous all the time. Now you're shifting your, remember I was talking about the balance that's happening? The redox reactions are necessary. Don't overdo it. One thing that balances them automatically is red light therapy. We'll talk about that later.
Yes.
That goes to mitochondria
Just
directly.
Red light therapy. We're going to do a whole
different thing about that. Yes.
On that, because that is a very
photobiomodulation
topic and something I'm really excited to delve into. But we will save that for a separate separate chat.
Separate talk. So vitamin D3, 1,000 units a day. Vitamin C, 2,000 units. Sorry, 2,000 milligrams. That's 2 grams a day. That's very good average. It's quite a high dose compared to what recommendations are, but it's actually not high compared to what we actually need.
Those little sachets that people get, they're about 1,000 milligrams, aren't they?
The liposomal, that's a fantastic one. Yes.
That's 1,000, and you can get little time release capsules that are 1,000 milligrams.
Yes.
So one or two of those a day, just as a
don't do the suckies. Don't suck on. So there's many different brands. I don't sell any, like I make my own healthcare products, but that's it. The rest of what I'm talking about, I don't sell vitamin D3, although we use it and we buy it. It's vegan, a vegan form, but we don't sell it. So in vitamin C. So I'm not gonna mention brands specifically, but like Emma said, there's many different ways to do this. The liposomal is fantastic. The slow release capsules are fantastic. Some powders which are rich in like, just look for ascorbates, not ascorbic acid.
Right.
Less of the acid, more of the salts of that, because you actually need magnesium with this. So magnesium ascorbate, calcium ascorbate, sodium ascorbate, salts of ascorbic acid that already have the other part being necessary, like the magnesium, are much better than just ascorbic acid, which is too much acid by itself.
Okay, so ascorbate, not ascorbic acid. Right, and then there are other ones too, like supplements made from the acerola cherry, which are high in vitamin C.
Perfect. Yes.
Some natural derivatives of some natural
Absolutely.
plants that contain a high amount of vitamin C.
Absolutely. And let's finish to talk about the vitamin C, because we're at it now before we skip to other ones like zinc and magnesium and all these things. So if you're just maintaining health, you and your family and all these things, 2,000 milligrams, 2 grams on average. Maybe if the child, 1,000 is fine. 1,500 is fine. So anywhere between 1,000 and 2,000 a day. If you're sick or have the cold or have the flu or have the virus or whatever, definitely can up your dose. However, just know this, that no matter how much you take orally, it will never be all absorbed and active and bioactive anyway, because it's water soluble. A lot of it will be digested. It'll mix with your stomach acid and then with the alkaline enzymes in your guts, and then some will be absorbed. Most will be excreted. It can cause diarrhea if you take too much, because it's so whatever you're taking in is not really all going in functionally. So orally, it's good to a limit, but you take too much, one, it becomes a waste, it becomes annoying because you get too much of the runs and all these things. If you are sick, that's what I want to say here. If you are sick, coronavirus or any other virus or serious illness, go find an integrative health practitioner who can inject you with IV vitamin C. Now we can go 10, 20, 30 milligrams, 30 grams IV. That's a whole different ball game, and that I don't do that personally. As a dentist, I'm not allowed to inject, even though I graduated as a doctor, but I didn't register as a doctor, I registered as a dentist. So I don't even do this treatment myself. I had it done myself. It's good to have it every now and then, preventatively, because it's amazing. That and ozone, alternate. So we have ozone machines like this. If you plug in pure oxygen into here from an oxygen tank, what comes out is pure ozone, and that can be injected again through the IV, either with the saline, which is an easy way to do it, to bubble it through, or it can be injected slowly or blood. But anyway, this is professional stuff. Exactly. This is professional stuff to be done. However, you can use ozone to wash your hands, wash your surfaces, as we do in the practice in the clinic. We have big ozone machines for the water mains. We have taps everywhere. You can have some of these taps at home. The ozone is really good all the time for general disinfection, for drinking, for rinsing, washing hands. It only breaks down oxygen and water. But as a treatment for viral infections, and I'm shocked and surprised that it's not universal now, the science is there, the tests are there. Ebola was cured until the German doctors were stopped from doing it with ozone. So injections of ozone, injections of vitamin C IV, vital and critical, and actually the cure for all of these severe viral infections. And the shock wave of cytokine storms that we talk about in the lungs, that actually it's the inflammatory reaction. Your body's overreacting in the lungs to this virus, and that's what killed you. And then of course they're going to put you on a ventilator, which keeps pushing all this fluid into that. By the way, the whole ventilator thing is way overdone, because to put somebody on a ventilator, you have to sedate them.
Right.
You have to sedate somebody. So either they're already in coma, that's why we have the ventilator, which is fantastic. That's needed for somebody in coma, will keep them alive. We can't save lives as an intention. We're there to care for the living and the dying, provide them with mercy, provide them with care. So we do everything in healthcare and I highly commend what's being done overall, but we shouldn't be just, machines, because we're not machines. So the ventilator for everybody who's got COVID is the ridiculous thing, because now you're sedating them with fentanyl or propofol or whatever for days on end. The sedation causes delirium and causes massive dramas. The pressure of the ventilators pushing all the fluid in because of the reaction is ridiculous. That's causing more damage. And the science is coming out, actually. It is causing more damage than good for the ones who survive. Mm-hmm. And for the ones who don't survive, actually is that part of the cause of death in the first place. So let's not overdo this thing, mm-hmm. especially when they're still looking for a cure, but we have the ozone and the vitamin C sitting right here, decades of evidence, many doctors, not me personally, many doctors willing and ready to say, let us inject these people. And now let's not do it. That's crazy. Having said that, some hospitals in Italy are using ozone now. Some are doing tests with vitamin C. New York Hospital is doing vitamin C now. China's used the vitamin C IV for a lot of the coronavirus patients. So watch this space. Excellent. To become conventional. But is the evidence there? Is the science there? Is the history there? Heaps of it, and it's extremely safe. So let's not do more of the crazy stuff. Let's do more of the healing stuff. Let's promote healing. And if we can't heal, at least we did our best.
Mm-hmm. So ozone therapy is a really, really great thing to keep in mind. And finding a holistic doctor who can administer this.
Absolutely.
Or
absolutely.
As you and I have spoken about before, I'm going to look at ozone producing machines.
Taps, yes.
Taps for.
It's literally a tap, but underneath is an ozone generator, so all the water comes out ozonated.
Which is mainly.
That's not for injection. Yeah, it's for hands, that's it. For hands, for mucosa, you can rinse with it, you can wash with it, you can bathe with it. The ozone goes through your skin and disinfects and cleans and signals that redox rebalance as well, that the oxidation inside your cells. It has many benefits that we can literally spend a whole hour just talking about ozone, whole hour just about vitamin C and all these things. But my recommendation is, for treatment, definitely find somebody who can do that. For prevention, just long term, to be well, have regular, maybe once every month, once every 3 months, depending on you and your situation and financing and your doctor obviously as well. Every 3 months have ozone IV, and the other 3 months have vitamin C IV. It's not 10, 20,000 milligrams at that point. It's maybe that same 2,000 or 3,000 you're taking orally, 2 or 3 grams. You can take them IV and it's direct effect. So have that preventatively, professionally done. When you're sick, you go up with the dose. When you're not sick, for maintenance, still have it. It's amazing. Your appetite, your energy levels, literally for days afterwards, you feel like, oh, this feels amazing. I have them done all the time because I'm trying to protect myself all the time and my family, because I've seen so much disease all around us. Yeah. But at home, just intake vitamin D3, vitamin K2, vitamin C, 2 grams, definitely magnesium supplements, definitely some good zinc, zinc orotate or zinc citrate, easy to take as well, very cheap. Selenium and chromium, those are only in areas, if you're deficient in selenium and chromium, you need them. But you need to know if you're deficient or not. Yeah, that's a tricky one. Yeah, too much selenium is not good at all. So if you are deficient, please have it tested and looked at. But it's very hard to overdose on magnesium. It's very hard to overdose on like 1,000 grams international units of vitamin D3, like I said. Iodine, very important one. very important, especially at times when we're fighting infections and all these things. But generally, most of us these days, because of the strain on our bodies and the extra toxins, too much chlorine. Chlorine competes with iodine, and fluoride, obviously fluorine, competes with iodine.
Okay.
So,
Well,
and we're exposed to a lot of these toxins.
got
Yeah,
some
so most of us would be deficient to iodine one way or another. So iodine drops or potassium iodide, which is a very bitter salt, in with your salt or just in water, just drink it. It's very bitter, but it really works, potassium iodide. But you can get them in pharmacies, and just iodine drops, basically. Just a couple of drops in the morning, under your tongue. Again, there we go, under the tongue, into mucosa, getting it into your blood, basically. Swallowing is a very slow way to take something into your blood. It's transmucosal, that's the fast way.
the key. Well, thank you so much. I'm gonna have to wrap this up now because we talking and talking and talking. But well, I really appreciate your time and all of your amazing information. I've learned a lot, and I look forward to our next chat. And yeah, thank you. Have a good day today. We'll talk to you soon.
You too. Thank you.